Hi, welcome to the Brief Book Reviews channel, otherwise known as An Old Guy Reviews the Book that he's read this week. So what's the old guy read this week? Well, I've had a bit of feedback saying I should review more non-fiction books on the channel. So, Vox Populi, Vox Dei. So this week it's a non-fiction book and it's a paperback. And the book is called The Trading Game by author Gary Stevenson. Now this book was released as a hardback last year, 5th of March 2024. And it's only recently came out in paperback form. I missed it in the hardback phase, and I really wanted to read this book because it had some great reviews and it's a subject I'm really interested in. So this was released in the UK on the 30th of January 2025 by Penguin, and it's fair to say it's been a very successful print. Been well advertised, wherever you go. In fact, I was in London yesterday, and on the Underground there's a big poster of this book that says, "What's the trade, Gary?" So been well pushed by both online and offline booksellers. So I thought it really is worth a read. And in its simplest form, it's the tale of a lad called Gary Stevenson. Now, Gary is quite popular nowadays. He's got his own YouTube channel called Gary's Economics. He's featured in various forms of media. And he is a former trader. And this is Gary's story. It's the story of a working class lad from East London who's, a bit rough around the edges, gets chucked out of his grammar school, ends up going to a comp, but he's very, very good at mathematics. And he manages to get a place at the LSE, the London School of Economics. In his second year there, and he's had a really good first year, he's got good grades, he notes that all his contemporaries are applying for internships at various trading banks in the city. This is at a time when Canary Wharf was expanding. So he's thinking, I don't stand a whole lot of chance against these sort of guys because they come from wealthy families, they've got the right contacts. I'm a working class lad. What chance do I stand to getting an internship? But he's a bit fed up. But then one of his mates says, you should have a look at this. It's called The Trading Game. And it's run by Citibank, and they run it every year. And it's effectively a card game. It's almost a sort of glorified form of spoof where players are given cards that are of a certain value. There are cards in the middle of the table that hold a certain value, and you have to sort of buy and sell. So Gary thought, I'm pretty good at maths, and my mate's given me a bit of a steer on this game because he's played it before. He knows what's going on. I should go in for it. And Gary does go in for it, and he wins it. He wins a place at Citibank, one of the biggest financial institutions in the world, and starts working in Canary Wharf, and he starts off as a trader. And this is Gary's story. Gary does very, very well as a trader. So well that, he's one of their top traders. This tells Gary's story. We see tales from the trading floor. There's some wonderful anecdotes in here about some of his colleagues. There's also the financial side where Gary explains some of the mechanics of the finance business and how the economy works. So it's a really, really good read. And then we trace Gary's story where eventually ends up in Citibank in Tokyo, and then he comes home, but he's getting disillusioned with the whole trading thing and the way that he sees it as there's an inequality in the market. So in effect, this is almost two parts. There's Gary's story, which is very engaging, very entertaining, and well worth a read. But there's almost a sort of political treatise, which is the bit at the end of the book, where he's noticed that, he's talked to his colleagues and they say, well, it's a free market economy. There are always going to be winners and losers. There'll always be rich and poor. But his premise is that, particularly after COVID, the gap between rich and poor has grown enormously. So he's disillusioned with the whole trading game, and part of this book is his story of trying to get out of it. So it's a really good read. I read years ago a book called Liar's Poker by Michael Lewis. And that was a story about Wall Street and the traders there, and that was really good. So, if you read that and enjoyed that, you should definitely read this. And it's a worthwhile read. And one of the things I liked about the book is that It's told from the tale of Gary the Geezer. It's not been stylized. It's not been made into a sort of middle class story. It's Gary talking as Gary. There's a fair bit of swearing in it, so not for the people that are easily offended. But I like the tone of the book and the way that Gary tells his tale as Gary. So really good book. Really enjoyed it. I guess the point Gary makes about trading is that it's not about being right as a trader. It's about being right when everyone else is wrong. And there's a section in there where he can see that after the financial crash of 2008, he can see that interest rates are going to stay at zero for a long time, and everybody else thought they wouldn't be. And don't get me started on the financial institutions and central banks who get it wrong time after time. But hey, that's another story. But as far as this book's concerned, excellent read, really good story. Anybody who's interested in trading will want to read it. Anybody interested in finance, economics will want to read it. But it's just a good story of a working class guy making good and then wondering if it's that good after all. So really good read. I'd give it 8 out of 10. As I said, it's been heavily promoted. So that's it for this week's brief book review. Thanks for watching. 10/10 till we do it again.